सर्वविद्यानां श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ओम नमो भगवते विराजेश्वराय। ओम नमो भगवते विराजेश्वराय। हरि ओम नमस्ते। ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. Prostrating at the lotus feet of our Gurudeva, Shrotriya Brahmanishta Sri Virajeshwara Saraswati, and the entire Guru Parampara on all the behalf of all of us. Again, the second lecture discourse is commencing today on Vivek Chudamani by the grace of Guru. We start with Guru Vandana, or what we call Mangala Charana Shlokas. Hari Om. Om Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham Sri Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smruti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sotra Bhashyakrutam Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Agocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Om Namo Bhagavate Virajeshwaraya. Hari Om. Last time, in the first discourse, it was a sort of an introduction with the first shloka on Vivek Chudamani given by Acharya Shankara. That itself is taken now as a Mangalacharana shloka, the next in the coming discourses. Last time, the one shloka was covered, which is the core summary of Vedanta Chudamani philosophy, what Acharya has given in the next 580 shlokas. Before we go into that, two small points I had forgotten because it's the first experience, to inform our Guru Bandhus, esteemed spiritual aspirants and sadhakas. ಹೋದ ಸಲ ಒಂದು 2 ವಿಷಯ ಹೇಳೋದು ಮರೆತಿದ್ದೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರಾರಂಭ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಬಹಳ ಜನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂಗಡಿಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ, ಹೀಗೆಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಬಂತು. So lot of people put a query that what about the books on our Gurudeva Swami Virajeshwara Saraswati, where they are available. So for the benefit of the people who want to know about the books written by Swami Virajeshwara in English, the first one was the foremost, 1994, Scientist's Search for Truth was published. It is his autobiography. This Scientist's Search for Truth in English, I was told by Gurudev in 2005 and 6 to translate it to vernacular Kannada language. That was done by His grace. Now the Scientist's Search for Truth is the total autobiography written by Gurudev. Now it has been already translated into so many Indian languages, including Kannada, like Tamil, Telugu, Oriya, Malayalam, Japanese, Marathi, and Hindi. After that, there are 2 volumes on question and answers asked by the spiritual aspirants. So many questions, and Gurudev has answered. These 2 are known as Know Your Reality Part 1 in English, Kannada, and Telugu. Know Your Reality Part 2 in English and Kannada. Then the most important, Gurudev has written the Sadhana and Meditation in English, which is translated into Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi. Then this Science of Bhagavad Gita, a magnum opus he has written, commentary on Bhagavad Gita, that is published in English and Japanese language. Then a small pocket book he has written, Ultimate Truth, in English, translated into Kannada language. The last book he wrote before his Mahasamadhi is The Rebirth, very most poignant, important book, I would say, where he has brought in the secrets hidden in Chandogya Upanishad and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad on the rebirth process itself. That is a beautiful book. The last book he wrote, that is translated again into Kannada. Then there is another book called Guru Mahima. This is under the open clearance given by Gurudeva. Some of his devotees, they have written their personal experiences, how they met our Guru, what were they before meeting the Guru, how the life has transformed in their journey of the spiritual field, how Guru has played a role by holding their hand. All those personal experiences are there in the book called Guru Mahima, Path to Enlightenment, written by his devotees, his disciples, who are Antaranga Shishyas. This is the information I had to give. And all these books are available online in the website Mr. Prabhakar Shanay he has created, known as hamsashramam.org. I think it is there. I'm pointing out. Those who want to know this website, later you can contact. Again, it will be given, hamsashramam.org. There, everything will be given. Books are supplied at the doorstep. This is the information I just wanted to give prior to that. And another small information about this online discourse. It is being facilitated by Mr. Kailas Simha, sitting at USA near New Jersey. And the Prerana has come, the Sadguru Prerana has come to him, and he is the main host who is creating this particular online discourse links and also putting it in the YouTube. With these things, we'll start today's ವಿವೇಕ ಚೂಡಾಮಣಿ. ಇದು ಕೆಲವು ಮೊದಲೇ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಆದ್ರಿಂದ ಈಗ ಎರಡನೇ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಹೋದ ಸಲ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋಣ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ವಾಸ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ಡ್ ಆರ್ ಕವರ್ಡ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಐ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನೆರೇಟ್ ದಟ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಅಂಡ್ ದೆನ್ ವಿ ಗೋ ಟು ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್. ಜಂತೂನಾಂ ನರಜನ್ಮ ದುರ್ಲಭಮತಃ ಪುಂಸ್ತ್ವಂ ತಥೋ ವಿಪ್ರತ ತಸ್ಮಾತ್ ವೈದಿಕ ಧರ್ಮ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಪರತ ವಿದ್ವತ್ವಂ ಅಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಪರಂ ಆತ್ಮಾನಾತ್ಮ ವಿವೇಚನಂ ಸ್ವನುಭವೋ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾತ್ಮನಾ ಸಂಸ್ಥಿತಿಃ ಮುಕ್ತಿರ್ನೋ ಶತಕೋಟಿ ಜನ್ಮ ಸುಕೃತೈಃ ಪುಣ್ಯೈರ್ ವಿನಾ ಲಭ್ಯತೆ. Acharya, in the very after Mangalacharana, let us say this is the first shloka itself in the Viveka Chudamani. He has made the points very, very clear how difficult it looks, the path of liberation in this spiritual sadhana. Why it is difficult? Because all cannot take part in this holy journey, holy pilgrimage towards perfection. These are the words which always are dearer to me because our Gurudev used to use these words. All cannot in one birth time enter into the sadhana mode. That is why Acharya says it is so difficult. It is difficult to get a human birth. Still, it is difficult after getting a human birth. The determination, perseverance, the male qualities of doing sadhana with total conviction, that is difficult. Then Vaidika Marga Dharma Parata. To be a sattvic person, to do good things in life, to help others. Even that is still difficult. All these things he says, and ultimately, you may have Shastra Jnana also. You may be a scholar of Vedantic text and Vedic scholar also. It may be. But still it is not sufficient, he says. To gain mukti, to gain liberation, ನಾವು ಮುಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನ ಮೋಕ್ಷವನ್ನು ಸಂಪಾದನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಕಷ್ಟ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಬರೀ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು, ವೈದಿಕ ಧರ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ವಿದ್ವತ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಪಾಂಡಿತ್ಯ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಾಲದು, ಆತ್ಮಾನಾತ್ಮ ವಿವೇಚನಂ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಆತ್ಮಾನಾತ್ಮ ವಿವೇಕ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಆತ್ಮ ಯಾವುದು ಅನಾತ್ಮ ಇದು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಯಂ ಸಾಧನೆಯಿಂದ ಸ್ವಂತ ಅನುಭವ ನಮಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಗುರುಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡದೆ ಅನುಭವ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಅನುಭವ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸಾಧನೆ ಬೇಕು. ಆ ಸಾಧನೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗುರು ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶಿಯಾಗಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಗುರುವಿನ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗುವ ಸಂಭವ, ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ. ಸೊ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಇಟ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ that without doing sadhana, self-effort, without having personal experience, direct experience, it is difficult to get the mukti or moksha in one human birth itself. This was the last time. We go to the next. Durlabham trayamevaitat daivanugraha hetukam ಮನುಷ್ಯತ್ವಂ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷುತ್ವಂ ಮಹಾಪುರುಷ ಸಂಶ್ರಯ. Very important landmark shloka, as it is called. Our Gurudev used to say, this is a landmark shloka. Several shlokas are called landmark shlokas in Vivek Chodal. In the next 3 shlokas, including this, Acharya Bhagavatpada is hammering one point. Which point? It is so difficult. We are so lucky. We are so fortunate by the grace of Ishvara Lord that we are born as human beings. So he is stressing on that point. We are born as human beings. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ ಬರೋದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಕಷ್ಟ ಅಂತ ಈ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋ 2-3 ಶ್ಲೋಕಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಬಹಳ ಕಷ್ಟಪ್ಪ, ದುರ್ಲಭ, difficult to get a human birth. And how lucky you people are, you are born human beings. And again, Acharya says, how lucky you are developing a tendency towards sadhana or spiritual mode. Ellarigu baralla. Everybody will not get this tendency in their lifetime. They live, enjoy their life, make their life how best possible, earn money, make everything possible, always think of making more and more and more money, and then lead their life. Ultimately, they die. There ends the matter. Again, they are reborn. So they are not interested at all. Acharya says, how difficult it is to be a human being. No guarantee next birth again you become human being or not. ಈ ಜನ್ಮ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಸಿಗತ್ತಾ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ? ನಮಗೆ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. Because whatever we do in this birth, that will decide the future births as per Karma Siddhanta or the law of karma. Karma Siddhanta, Punarjanma, both are the pillars of our Sanatana Vaidika Dharma. So he says, Durlabham Trayametat Daivanugraha Hetukam. By God's grace, 3 things happen in our life. Only by God's grace. Number 1, Manushyatva. Number 2, Mumukshatva. Number 3, Mahapurusha Samshayam. Samshayaha. ಈ 3 ನೋಡಪ್ಪ ಕಷ್ಟ, ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳಪ್ಪ ಏನ್ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಮನುಷ್ಯನಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟೋದು, ಮನುಷ್ಯನಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷತ್ವ ಬರೋದು, ಅದೂ ಬಂತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮಹಾತ್ಮರ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಸತ್ಸಂಗದ ಆಶ್ರಯ, ಜ್ಞಾನಿಗಳ ಕೃಪಾದೃಷ್ಟಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳೋದು, ಆ ಪರಮ ಸದ್ಗುರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಒಳಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಅದು ಇನ್ನೂ ಕಷ್ಟ. ಸೊ he is making it very clear. It's all by the grace of God that we have been born as human beings, and then mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means your desire to know about life. Who am I? What is my purpose in this life? Why I am born? Is there any purpose, real purpose? So the desire to know something about God, the desire to have Bhagavad Sakshatkara, the desire to have the liberation itself, the desire to have the moksha, that is jijnasatva, that is mumukshutva. Everybody will not get this desire in their life. That's what Acharya hints. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈ ಭಗವತ್ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನ ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಇಚ್ಛೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಭಾವ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ಕೆಲವರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ದೈವ ಕೃಪೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ. ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸೇಸ್. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. Then the third one is still difficult. Yaudu? The third one, Acharya says, Mahapurusha Samshaya. Having a satsanga with a great jnani, Brahmajnani, Satguru is very difficult. To meet a Brahmajnani, Satguru is still difficult. To have his darshan and to be as a devotee or a disciple is still difficult, because the Guru will choose. The Guru will decide who has to come nearer him or not. So that is again by God's grace, Daivanugraha Hetukam. So three things are difficult. Being born as a human being, then developing Jijnasatva or Mumukshutva. Third one, getting a Sadguru. All the three are so difficult, one after another, Acharya says. Remember, Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi once said in a simple way, in a simple English. Bhagavan ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ದುರ್ಲಭ ಮನುಷ್ಯತ್ವ ಮುಮುಕ್ಷತ್ವ ಅಂತ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಏನು, even to remember God, the God's grace is required, in a simple sentence. ಭಗವಂತನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚಿಂತನೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆತನ ಕೃಪೆ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. How lucky we are, I give an example. How lucky we are. In India, more than 130 crore population is there. In the worldwide, if you take approximately nearly 7 billion, more than 700 crore population. You imagine, out of these crores of people, how many are really spiritually interested to know about God? Hardly few. If you consider crores and crores of people, hardly few. That's why they are called lucky people. They are chosen by the God. I once again folded hands. With the folded hands, I bow to all the Guru Bandhus and spiritual aspirants and sadhakas and mumukshus, that how lucky you are. You have been chosen in this birth itself by the Almighty God, Daivanugraha Hetukam, to be on the spiritual path. ಭಗವಂತನ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಾಧಕರು, ಆತ್ಮವಿದ್ಯಾ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನು ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂಥವರು, ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಬೇಕು, ಭಗವದ್ ಅನ್ವೇಷಣೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋರಿಗೆ ಆ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬಂದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಭಗವಂತನ ಕೃಪೆ. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದಿಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಯು ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್, ಫಾರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಲಾರ್ಡ್ ಕೃಷ್ಣ ಇನ್ ಭಗವದ್ ಗೀತಾ ವಾಟ್ ಹಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಸೆಡ್. Same point. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vetti tattvataha. Same point. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, out of thousands and thousands and thousands of people, very few, Arjuna, will try, very few, they try to realize me, to know me, they try sincerely. Out of such people who are on the spiritual path, thousands and thousands, maybe one will reach me. And how difficult it is. Same point he says. ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಗವಂತ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನಲ್ಲ, ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಜನ ನನ್ನನ್ನ ಹೊಂದಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಪ್ಪ. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಆ ಸಾವಿರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬನು ಆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಶಸ್ಸು ಕಾಣಬಹುದು. ಅಂತಹ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನಶೀಲರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊನೆಗೆ ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬನು ಮಾತ್ರ ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಸೇರ್ತಾನೆ. ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತಾ ಸೇಮ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್. So in the next 2-3 shlokas, again Acharya is telling the same point. Labdhva katam chit narajanma durlabham tatrapi pumstvam shruti paradarshanam yastvatma muktau nayateta modadihi sa atmaha swam vinihanti asadgrahat. I'll repeat once again. Matamsala ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. Labdhva katam chit ನರಜನ್ಮ ದುರ್ಲಭಂ ತತ್ರಾಪಿ ಪುಂಸ್ತ್ವಂ ಶ್ರುತಿಪಾರದರ್ಶನಂ ಯಸ್ತ್ವಾತ್ಮ ಮುಕ್ತೌ ನಯತೇತ ಮೂಢದಿಃ ಸ ಆತ್ಮಾಹ ಸ್ವಂ ವಿನಿಹಂತಿ ಅಸದ್ಗ್ರಹಾತ್. ಹೇಗೋ ಕಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮವನ್ನ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಭಗವತ್ ಕೃಪೆಯಿಂದ ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಪುರುಷತ್ವವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿ ವೇದಗಳನ್ನ, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ, ವೇದಾಂತ ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅಭಿರುಚಿ ಇದ್ರೂ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ತನ್ನ ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅವನಂಥ ಮೋಡ ಇನ್ಯಾರೋ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಇದ್ದು, ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ ಇದ್ದು, ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರದ ಅಭಿರುಚಿ ಇದ್ದು, ಪೌರುಷತ್ವ ಇದ್ದು, ಪುಂಸ್ತ್ವಂ ಪೌರುಷತ್ವ, ದ ಡಿಟರ್ಮಿನೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ದೂ ಸಹ ಮೋಕ್ಷ ವಾಸನೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವನಂತ ಮೂಢ ಅವಿವೇಕಿ ಯಾರು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಇಸ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ obtained human birth, which is durlabha, difficult, tatrapi pumstatvam shrutiparadarshanam. With that masculinity, emotional independency, to be developing determination and perseverance in the field of sadhana, that is pumstvam. It is not gender specific. Earlier it was told, it is not just male, it includes female also. So developing that, tatrapi shruti paradarshanam, with the knowledge of Vedas and Shastras and scriptures in the hand. People may do lot of studies on Vedas, Veda mantras, Karma Kanda, everything. Lot of things. With all that, they are engrossed only in the superficial things. But if they don't try for the release from the bondage of birth and death cycle, he is a Moda himself. He is Aviveki himself. And such a person is as good as he is committing a suicide. Acharya says, Sa atma swam vinihanti asadgrahat. Vinihanti asadgrahat sa atmaha swam vinihanti. Such a person who is a Mudha Aviveki, who doesn't try for liberation, who doesn't try for the Parama Purushartha, moksha, sadhana, what happens? He is such a fool, it is as good as he is committing a suicide. As good as that. Acharya is making very clear once again. Look, Baba, you are a human birth you have got, which is rare by God's grace. And if you don't try, if you don't think of escaping from this bondage, because you are going to die today or tomorrow, with all your wealth, health, money, power, position, so much of things, so much. You may be a multi-millionaire, multi-billionaire, whatsoever, but still you are going to die one day. And at the deathbed, nobody will help. Our Gurudev used to say. Our Gurudev was very clear. He used to sometimes humorously tell, look, Padaki, all ultimately nowadays, they die like individual lonely person in ICU, because hospitals are there to grab you and make money. So they put you in ICU and you die there alone. Unlike in the olden days, they used to die in the home. in front of their kids and kids. Now they die, you die in the ICU only. Nobody is there to watch. You are going to die like a beggar, however multi-billionaire you are. I remember here, all of us, some of us at least, know what that famous CEO or whatever it is, I don't know, Steve Jobs of Apple company, what he wrote on his deathbed in the ICU in his last stages. I think most of you know that. How desperately he writes, money won't bring anything. Now I understand. I was running behind money, power, popularity. And now I know I am on the deathbed in the ICU. I am waiting for the death. Now I know the futility of making money. See, you all know all those things. That is what Acharya says. A man who doesn't try for release from the bondage, a man who doesn't try for emancipation, realization, then what is the use? You are as good as a murkha, mudha, the word he uses here. Again he says next shloka, ita konvasti modhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabham manushadeham prapya tatrapi paurusham. Ita konvasti modhatma yastu swarte pramadyati durlabham manusham deham prapya tatrapi paurusham. Acharya again he is telling, durlabham manusham deham prapya tatra api paurusham prapya. Look, already you have been born as a human being, which is a difficult thing. And also you have that paurusha, paurusha, that perseverance, determination, conviction, with all that. Itah konvasti, itah ka nu asti modhatma yastu swarte pramadyati. Yahatu swarte pramadyati. The fellow, if he neglects pramadyati, swarte, swarthe, pramadyati. If he neglects the basic, his purpose of life, that is realization, if he neglects that basic purpose of life, then itaha konu asti modhatma. Is there any other fool, bigger fool than this fellow? Acharya puts the question to us. Look, is there any bigger fool? Nodappa, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಇದ್ದು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ ಇದ್ದೂ ಸಹ, ಪೌರುಷ ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಇದ್ದು ತಾನು ಮೋಕ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ ಆಸೆ ಪಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ ಇವನಿಗಿಂತ ಮೂಢ, ಇವನಿಗಿಂತ ಅವಿವೇಕಿ, ಇವನಿಗಿಂತ ಮೂರ್ಖ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಇದ್ದಾರೇನಪ್ಪ ಜಗತ್ನಲ್ಲಿ? There is a meaning of this. Why Acharya is hammering in the beginning only about emancipation? Your goal in life is emancipation, realization, moksha, mukti. Why? What does it mean ultimately? Sometimes the queries will enter our mind. All these words ultimately mean one thing. What is that moksha means? There are beautiful words in Vedanta. Moksha means a janma rahitya sthiti. What is that janma rahitya sthiti? When this question was asked to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Bhagavan, can you tell us in a simple way what is moksha? What is realization? Simple way. We are not educated. We are not highly scholarly people. Then he answered, look, moksha means with a total conviction, he says, with a total conviction and perseverance, perception, not perseverance, total conviction and perception. You believe that you are not born. That is moksha. You, with conviction, utterly, truthfully trust that you are not born. That is moksha. So moksha means, in simple way, we don't want to come back again in some other form in the next birth, whether animal or human being. You take our own example. You take our own example. How much I am attached to my family, isn't it? All these years, I am now 73 completed, 74 years ago. All these years, what is it we are doing? See, I have a name, a status, a function, a career, wife, children. So I'm attached to all these people, my brother, my sister, father, mother, we attached to all these people and strive for their welfare, earn money for their sake, earn money for the sake of the children, for the grandchildren. I want to make money. I want to have a cozy home. I want to have a lot of bank balance. Let my money multiply in stock market, whatever it is. So mind is always geared because I know I have a wife or I have a husband, I have children, all these things. You know, all of you know, I also know it. All of us. Now imagine in the next, after I die, in the next human birth, for example, I am born in some family as somebody else. Do I remember in the next birth all these my kiths and kins of this birth? Never. Their new attachments will come in. Right from the birth, as a baby, I will struggle, go for the primary education, secondary education, college education, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Again, go for earning. So that life continues. Again, totally engrossed in the maya of the word samsara. Samsara means that only. Imagine hundreds and crores of births already we had. Do we remember all our parents of the previous birth? Do I remember all my kiths and kins, my wives, my children, grandchildren of the previous births? No. See, that is it. So, do you want to repeat and repeat and repeat by being born again, born again, born again, born again? How nice it would be to escape from this. Let this birth be the last birth. Let this birth be the last birth so that I am no more born next. See, that is the point, Janma Rahitya Sthiti. That is the real, what is called Amrutatva. That is really called mortality, immortality. You remain immortal if you are not born again. So that is the goal of life. How to remain immortal? This body is born, it will go away, but I should know who I am really. So if I know who I am really by personal experience, not by book knowledge, not by intellectual understanding, I should know myself, who I am. When is it possible? With conviction, belief, total belief and conviction, and the sadhana as directed by the Guru, Sadguru. If I just simply follow what he says, that is enough. That is enough. I need not bother anything. He is there. Guru is there to take care. All that I have to do is, let me do sincerely my sadhana. You remember that famous Brahmajnani, realized master, Nisargadatta Maharaj, whom our Gurudev had met in Mumbai. He has mentioned him in his Scientist Search for Truth book also. What he says, what he said, very clear-cut terms. I simply trusted my Guru's words. Nisargadatta Maharaj says, I simply trusted 100% my Guru's words. He said, you are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not the body-mind complex, you are that only. Remember this. Everything else is false. So I trusted 100% with conviction. There is no second question at all. So I bow down to my Guru, Sri Siddharameshwara Maharaj of Natha Sampradaya. He said, so the important point ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, believe in what Guru says, believe in what Mahatmans say, and let me follow that. Let me simply follow that. That is the point here to remember. Then again, next shloka, Acharya makes it further clear. Further clear. See how beautifully in a simple in Sanskrit, Sanskritam language he says, Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devata. Vadantu shastrani yajantu devan kurvantu karmani bhajantu devata. Atmaikya bodena vinapi muktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. Atmaikya bodena vina api muktihi na siddhyati brahma shatantarepi. In this shloka, Acharya, say I'm mixing Kannada and English both. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೋಡಿಯಪ್ಪ, ನೀವು ಮನುಷ್ಯರಾಗಿ ಹುಟ್ಟಿ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಗಳನ್ನ ಓದಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪಂಡಿತರಾಗಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ವ್ಯಾಖ್ಯಾನಕಾರರಾಗಬಹುದು, ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು, ನೀವು ಏನನ್ನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಹೇಳಬಹುದು, ದೇವತೆಗಳ ಯಜ್ಞ ಹೋಮ ಹವನ ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ನೀವು ಯಜಂತು ದೇವಾನ್ ವದಂತು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಣಿ ಕುರುವಂತು ಕರ್ಮಾಣಿ ಭಜಂತು ದೇವತಾ. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು, ವೇದೋಕ್ತವಾದ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಜ್ಞ ಹೋಮ ಹವನ ದಾನ ತಪಸ್ಸು ವ್ರತಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಪೂರ್ವಿಕರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ವೇದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ನಾವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಭಜಂತು ದೇವತಾ, ಎಲ್ಲ ದೇವತೆಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಉಪಾಸನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು. ನೋಡೋರ ದೃಷ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸರಿಯೇ. ಆದರೆ ಆತ್ಮೈಕ್ಯ ಬೋಧೇನ ವಿನಾಪಿ ಮುಕ್ತಿ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಆ ಆತ್ಮೈಕ್ಯ ಭಾವ ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮ ಮತ್ತು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಈ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕಾತ್ಮ ಜೀವಾತ್ಮ ಎರಡೂ ಒಂದೇ, ಇದನ್ನ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮ ಏಕತ್ವ ಭಾವ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಆತ್ಮೈಕ್ಯ ಭಾವ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಬರದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಆತ್ಮವನ್ನೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಆತ್ಮ ವಿಚಾರವನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡದೇ ಇದ್ರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೋ ದೀರ್ಘಕಾಲ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಶತಾಂತರೇಪಿ, ಬ್ರಹ್ಮನ ಆಯುಷ್ಯ 100 ವರ್ಷ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂತ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಕಳೆದು ಹೋದರೂ ಸಹ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಮುಕ್ತಿ. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಓದಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇದು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ, ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದ ಒಳಾರ್ಥ. ದಿಸ್ ಶ್ಲೋಕ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಇಸ್ ಸೋ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್. ವದಂತು ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರಾಣಿ ಯಜಂತು ದೇವಾನ್ ಕುರ್ವಂತು ಕರ್ಮಾಣಿ ಭಜಂತು ದೇವತಾ. ಆತ್ಮೈಕ್ಯ ಬೋಧೇನ ವಿನಾಪಿ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ನ ಸಿದ್ಧ್ಯತಿ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಶತಾಂತರೇಪಿ. He is making so clear. Look, even if thousands of Brahmas undergo pralaya, as per the Hindu almanac, the 4 yugas, Chatur yugas, 1000 yugas, and 1 day of Brahma, 1 night of Brahma. Like that, Brahma, his lifespan is 100 years. The lifespan of Brahma, please don't get confused. This Brahma word used here is the Prajapati Chaturmukha Brahma, Saguna Brahma, Karya Brahma, not the ultimate Brahman. Shabda Vande. But this is different. This Brahma refers to the one of the triology, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. This Brahma is a creator. He is creator Brahma. So even if hundreds of Brahmas come and go, you will not get mukti. Why? With all your expertise on Shastra Vachanas, you are an expert Vedic scholar, you are a Ghanapati, you are Trivedi, Dvivedi, Chaturvedi, etc., etc., etc. You know all the Vedantic texts by heart. You give lectures and lectures and lectures so that the people are mesmerized by your Shastra Jnana, by your knowledge of Vedanta. It's called Shastra Vaidushya. People are flabbergasted, amazed about your knowledge. They prostrate to you and you feel very happy. With all that, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of crores of births you get, still, if you don't have first-hand direct experience of Brahma Atma Ekatva Jnana, If you don't know really who you are, if you don't know your real Swarupa, that is called Nijabodha Rupa. That is called Swaswarupa. If you don't know really who you are, if you don't have that awareness at all, that who you are nothing but the same Parabrahma Vastu. You are nothing but the same Parama Chaitanya pervading the entire universe. There is no difference between you and that Parabrahma Vastu. That is Atmaikya Bodha. Idu not intellectual understanding. It has to be internalized by the Guru's grace, only by constant sadhana and by the krupa of the Guru or God, Ishvara. One fine day, this jnana sprouts in it, the reality dawns. That's called reality. So Acharya is making very clear. There is Shruti saying is there. Shruti means Upanishads. Jnanadeva Kaivalyam. Acharya is very clear on that. Jnanadeva Kaivalyam is the Shruti Vachana. Jnanateva Kaivalyam. Only by the dawn of the Jnana, Kaivalya Prapti is there. Moksha gets itself at your hand. You become totally realized. You become emancipated. That is real salvation. So that again you are not born. You become Brahma itself. Because earlier another famous Shruti Vachana is there, Upanishad. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. Upanishad is very clear. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati means what? The knower of Brahma, the one who knows the Brahma, ultimately by his sadhana, one who realizes the Brahma, he becomes Brahma itself. Brahma here is the absolute Parama Chaitanya, that cosmic force, that cosmic energy. You call it as God, whatever name, Bhagavanta, that is cosmic force. That is Parama Chaitanya. You are that only. So until that realization occurs inside, it is like a blast. It is like a bomb blast. When it happens, nobody knows. You simply follow the Guru's advice without botheration. It will happen by its own time, by the grace of God or Guru. That's what Acharya says. So, he is talking about how difficult, with all your knowledge, this worldly knowledge, you cannot escape death and rebirth cycle. However good you are, however scholarly person you are, without this, you are bound to be born again and again, again and again, again and again. Acharya uses here, even if Brahma Shatantarepi, one word, very interesting word. Even if hundreds of Brahmas come and go on, you are not, if you are not realized, you are again born. You are in the cycle only, birth and death cycle only, in samsara only. Today, you are born in this way, in a particular family. Next time, you are born in some other family. There will be some other father, mother, some other husband, wife, children, etc., etc. What is it? 100 years of Brahma, technically speaking, just for curiosity. What is it? 100 years of Brahma in our human scale. Scholars have worked this. It is there in Vishnu Purana. Very detailed it is there. 31 lakhs 10,400 crores of years. I repeat, 31 lakhs 10,400 crores of years equals to the 100 years of Brahma. It's a technical calculation. Just for side interest, I refer this. So Acharya, how far he is talking on that, he is stressing on that. Your basic purpose, don't forget. That's what he says. You are good or bad, that won't come at all here. You strive and God will direct you. You sincerely try, God will show the way. You have the mind applied here, Guru will show the way, because God and Guru are one and the same. If I don't have the interest, how else I can improve as far as realization is concerned, jnana is concerned? Jnana means, again, please remember, all Mahatmans have said the same thing. All Upanishads have said the same thing. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಬರೋದಲ್ಲ ಅದು. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ವಸ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋದು ನಾವು ಪಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಹಾಗಲ್ಲ ಜ್ಞಾನ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಹೊರಗಿಂದ ಬರೋ ವಸ್ತುವೇ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆನೇ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಮುಚ್ಚಿ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಅದು ಪ್ರಕಟ ಆಗಬೇಕಷ್ಟೇ. ನಾನು ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋ ನನ್ನ ನಿಜ ಸ್ವರೂಪ ಪ್ರಕಟ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನೋದಯ ಅಂತ ಸಾಂದರ್ಭಿಕವಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ವಾಕ್ಯ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಉದಯವಾಯಿತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೊಸದಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋ ಜ್ಞಾನ ತಾನೇ ತಾನಾಗಿ ಸ್ಫುಟವಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಮಹಾತ್ಮನ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೆಡ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಜ್ಞಾನ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸಮ್ ಅದರ್ ಸೋರ್ಸ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ದೇರ್. You are already that only. Only thing we are disconnected. That's all. Only thing we are disconnected. That's all. Hagagi, jnana means it is something which what we have forgotten due to ajnana, all these births. Once again, we have to get connected to the source. That's all. What we have disconnected ourselves, we have to reconnect. That is what is called reality. That is what the dawn of reality. Please remember that. It is not something new. It is not something newly acquired. It is already there. Only we have to turn our vision inwards. That's all the point. Turn our vision inwards. That is all the point here, Acharya is telling. Next shloka. ಅಮೃತತ್ವಸ್ಯ ನಾಶಾಸ್ತಿ ವಿತ್ತೇನೇತ್ಯೇವ ಹಿ ಶ್ರುತಿಃ ಬ್ರವೀತಿ ಕರ್ಮಣೋ ಮುಕ್ತೇರ್ ಅಹೇತುತ್ವಂ ಸ್ಫುಟಂ ಯತಃ. ಅಮೃತತ್ವಸ್ಯ ನಾಶಾಸ್ತಿ ವಿತ್ತೇನ ಇತಿ ಏವ ಹಿ ಶ್ರುತಿಃ ಬ್ರವೀತಿ ಕರ್ಮಣೋ ಮುಕ್ತೇಃ ಅಹೇತುತ್ವಂ ಸ್ಫುಟಂ ಯತಃ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ದ್ರವ್ಯದ ಮೂಲಕ ಅಮೃತತ್ವದ ಆಸೆ ಪಡಬೇಡಪ್ಪ. ದ್ರವ್ಯ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯ. ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯದಿಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ದುಡ್ಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾಗ ಹೋಮ ಹವನ ಏನು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ವಾ? ಹಾಗೆ ದುಡ್ಡಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಎಲ್ಲವನ್ನೂ ಮಾಡಿ, ದೇವತಾ ಅರ್ಚನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾಗ ಹೋಮ ಹವನಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ 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 ಆ ದುಡ್ಡಿನ ಬಲದಿಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. ಅಮೃತತ್ವ, ಅಮರತ್ವ ಕೇವಲ ದುಡ್ಡಿನಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ದುಡ್ಡು ಅಥವಾ ಐಶ್ವರ್ಯದಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಕರ್ಮಗಳಿಂದ ಬರೋ ವಸ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಶ್ರುತಿ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿಯ ಆಸೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕಾರಣ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ವೇದೋಕ್ತವಾದ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈ ವೇದಗಳಲ್ಲಿ 90 ಭಾಗ ಕರ್ಮಕಾಂಡದಲ್ಲಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಸಂಹಿತೆಗಳು, ಬ್ರಾಹ್ಮಣಗಳು ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಋಕ್ಕುಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಏನಿದ್ರು ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನು ತೃಪ್ತಿಪಡಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಯಾಗ ಹೋಮ ಹವನ ಸ್ತೋತ್ರ ಭಗವತ್ ಸ್ತೋತ್ರ ಇವೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. 90% of the Vedas contain the Karma Kanda. The Karma Kanda contains all the rituals, Vedic rituals to perform so that you get Abhyudaya, Aishwarya, Arogya, Ayushya in this birth, and also you enter into heaven after death. ಈ ಜನ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅನುಕೂಲವಾದಂತಹ ವಿಷಯಗಳು, ಅಭ್ಯುದಯ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಪ್ತಿಯಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ, ಮುಂದೆ ಮರಣ ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಕರ್ಮಗಳು ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ? ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ವೇದೋಕ್ತ ಕರ್ಮಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದರೂ ಸಹ, ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಸ್ಮೃತಿಯುಕ್ತವಾದಂತಹ ಜನಪರವಾದಂತಹ ಸೇವೆಗಳನ್ನ ಸಹಾಯಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದರೂ ಸಹ ನಿಮಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತಿ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಶ್ರುತಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತೆ ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಮೃತತ್ವಸ್ಯ ನಾಶಾಸ್ತಿ ವಿತ್ತೇನತ್ಯೇವ ಹಿ ಶ್ರುತಿ ಬ್ರವೀತಿ ಕರ್ಮಣೋ ಮುಕ್ತೆ ಅಹೇತುತ್ವಂ ಸ್ಫುಟಂ ಯತಃ. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ in this shloka Acharya is telling very clearly, with all your Vedic rituals, when you worship, when you do upasana as per Veda injunction, when you do homas, when you do yaga, when you do vratas in the home or in the temple, when you go for tirtha yatras, pilgrimage, you do sevas, special sevas in front of God, you propitiate God, you do upasana, you do worship constantly, all these things are kamya karmas. Kamya karma andre with some desire in the mind. No doubt it will help. You definitely get the benefit out of that in this birth. Whatever devata karya, what we do, it will definitely give its results. And also it will take you to the heaven after death. Sarga prapti, with the intention to go to heaven. Some of the karmas we do here, definite, it will lead you to heaven only. But all these will not lead you to immortality. That's what Shruti says. That's what Shruti says. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Acharya is quoting here. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, what is there? He is telling here. Amrutatvasya tu nashasti na asha asti vittena iti eva. In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the great sage Yajnavalkya tells his wife Maitreyi this statement. When the wife Maitreyi asks the question to the husband, the sage, great Brahmajnani Yajnavalkya, Bhagavan, with the help of the money, can I be immortal? Then he says, no, with the help of the money, you cannot be immortal. No doubt you may do so many Vedokta karmas, but you cannot be immortal. Money won't help you. That is a point in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Acharya is quoting that. So Acharya says that won't help you at all. Similarly, there is Mahanarayana Upanishad. It's a famous Upanishad statement. Our Gurudev was very fond of all the time. He used to remember this and say. Even in the sadhana and meditation, he has used these words. Na karmana na prajaya dhanena tyagaine ke amrutatva manushaha. Mahanarayana Upanishad says, the Shruti says, na karmana, by your karmas alone, by your actions alone, ಕೇವಲ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ಮಗಳಿಂದ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಚಟುವಟಿಕೆಗಳಿಂದ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾರ್ಯಗಳಿಂದ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ. ನ ಕರ್ಮಣ ನ ಪ್ರಜಯ ನ ಧನೇನ. Prajaya means santati, offspring, your next generation. Even with the help of your next generation produced in your family, na prajaya, na dhanena, with all the money you have, amrutatva tyagaineke amrutatva manusho. Only by sacrifice, by giving up. Tyaga means giving up all your desires, you can reach amrutatva, immortality. Money won't bring you immortality. Your children won't bring you immortality. Your karmas or actions won't bring you. Your innate, that desireless state. Tyaga, desireless state. If you say, I want this, I want that other, it is not tyaga. If you remain steadfast, I want nothing. Whatever is there, God has given. ನೀನು ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭಗವಂತ ನೀನು ಒಬ್ನೇ ಬೇಕು, ನನಗೆ ಏನೋ ಬೇಡ, ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀಯ, ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಾರಬ್ಧದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ಆಗತ್ತೆ. ನನಗೆ ಆಸೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬೇಕು ಇದು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ, ನೋಡಪ್ಪ, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಎಷ್ಟೇ ದುಡ್ಡಿದ್ರು ಇನ್ನೂ ಬೇಕು 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 ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಸಾಕು 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 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋರು ಯಾರು ನಾನು ನೋಡೇ ಇಲ್ವಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ಅಂತ. ತಮಾಷೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಗುರುದೇವ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಸೇ, everybody says I want more, I want more, I want more, I want more. God knows what is that. Nobody says I have enough, I have enough, I have enough. I don't want anything more. So that is what is called tyaga. Tyaga means giving up your desires and ultimately. Detachment ultimately. Simple, you offer yourself to the God totally and do your work sincerely. Do your kartavya, your responsibilities, discharge sincerely. That's what Guru says. Then Ishvara, who is residing in your heart, is pleased. ಆಗ ಭಗವಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೃದಯದಲ್ಲೇ ವಾಸ ಅಲ್ವಾ, ನೋಡ್ತಾನೆ. He looks upon you with all earnestness. One fine day, one particular sumuhurta, he will put his grace and reality will dawn in your mind. For that, you have to do sadhana. Personal effort is required in the beginning. Later, he will take care of that. Once you start sincerely, he will take care of that. Please remember, it is our experience telling. You have to start sincerely your sadhana, spiritual journey, with conviction, belief in your Guru, his words, ಆಪ್ತವಾಕ್ಯ. ನನ್ನ ಗುರುಗಳು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು ನಾನು ಖಂಡಿತ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ನಂಬಿಕೆ, ಶ್ರದ್ಧೆ, ನಿಷ್ಠೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಮಾಡೋದು ಛಲದಿಂದ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆಗ ಮುಂದೆ 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 ಆ ಗುರು ಅಥವಾ ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನೇ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಾಧನೆಯನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಮಹಾತ್ಮನ್ ಸೇ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆಚಾರ್ಯರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಶ್ಲೋಕದಲ್ಲಿ? ಅಮೃತತ್ವಸ್ಯ ನಾಶಾಸ್ತಿ ವಿತ್ತೇನತ್ಯೇವ ಹಿ ಶ್ರುತಿ ಬ್ರವೀತಿ ಕರ್ಮಣೋ ಮುಕ್ತೆ ಅಹೇತುತ್ವಂ ಸ್ಫುಟಂ ಯತಃ. So in order to escape from the constant birth and death, what we have to do, he says, that is amrutatva, that is immortality. That is possible only by your sacrifice, tyaga, your sadhana. Tyaga here means sadhana, giving up everything. Give up the desires. That is the first step in sadhana. Our Gurudev is very clear on that. Your desires actually bound you to samsara. Our Gurudev used to say. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸೆಗಳು ಹೆಚ್ಚಾದಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಸಂಸಾರದಲ್ಲೇ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಕೊಂಡು ಒದ್ದಾಡ್ತೀವಪ್ಪ. ನೀವು ಆಸೆಗಳನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟಷ್ಟು 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 ನೀವು ಉದ್ಧಾರ ಆಗ್ತೀರಿ ಆತ್ಮೋದ್ಧಾರದ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ. ಗುರುಗಳು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ದ ಮೋರ್ ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಅಪ್ ಯುವರ್ ಬೈ ಫೋರ್ಸ್, ಟೆಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಯು ಗಿವ್ ಅಪ್ one by one as far as possible desires. It may not happen in one day, it may not happen in 1 month, it may not happen in 1 year, but have full faith in Guru, have full faith in God. Try and try. You go on giving up one by one the desires. What happens? Then God, who is already residing inside your heart, will show the way. He will hold your hand and he will show the way. He will take you. All the secrets get opened inside you automatically by the grace of Guru or God. We are talking from the personal experiences, not book knowledge, not hearsay. By the grace of Guru, all these things are there in our life. That is what our Gurudev used to say ultimately. Remember last time I said, sadhana means what? So many answers are there by Mahatmans, great Mahatmans. I reverentially bow down my head to all the Mahatmans. All the Mahatmans. They have given the knowledge in their own way, in simple way, in their own language. Wordings are different, but the truth is one. Our Gurudev said in simply, what is sadhana? How to reach God? Sadhana means giving up, he said. Look at this. Sadhana means giving up. That's all he said. He said, let people fill up the blanks. Giving up what? You fill up the blank, he said, humorously. See, short phrases he used to use. A great Brahmajnani, a Shrotriya, a incognito Brahmajnani we call. ನಮ್ಮ ಗುರುಗಳು ಹೇಗಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಮರೆಯ ಸಂತ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, nowhere he expected his publicity, people to come and bow at his head, at his feet. Nowhere he wanted to go. Never he went out and gave any sermon or a lecture over a mic. Never in his lifetime. Never, never. All that he said, whoever comes to me destined, they will come to me. I will impart the real jnana. This place is meant for those people who want jnana. It is not meant for anything else. That is how he used to say. So, with this, I conclude this today's talk. After this, I want everyone to unmute your sets. So there is a short bhajan, as last time it was done. And then some time is left for some small question answers. Hari Om, Namaste. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama,
Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. Sri Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Sri Rama,
Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Sri
Rama, Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama.
Hari Om. Once again, I bow down with Shraddha to all my Guru Bandhus who are with us in this journey, pilgrimage towards perfection. Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you.
Is a question and answer.
Some time is given last time. If anybody wants to ask anything, fine. ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್ ಕೈಲಾಸ್ ಸಿಂಹ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಂದು ನನಗೇನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ಲಾಂಕ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಝೂಮ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ
ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. If they want to, participants can unmute themselves and speak. They are all permitted to unmute themselves now.
Yes. Please, if anybody wants to ask a question, yes, please. Whatever is known, we can discuss it. You can unmute your laptop or mobile. All of you, please. I request for another 5-10 minutes. I can sit here, and it is so nice to talk to our Guru Bandhus.
ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಮೈಲಿ ಅವರು ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರೋದ್ರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್,
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಏನು ಕಾಣ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ?
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಏನೋ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಏನಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ,
ಅಲ್ಲ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಪುನಃ ಬರುವಂತ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ರೆಕಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
So where can I find the recordings of the session anta kelidare yaru Galaxy A2 Core naru, and I have shared the YouTube link. It's on the YouTube as well. Of course, Shanai ji will actually upload it into the site also, I think, in some time. So I just want to answer on your behalf.
Wonderful, sir. Wonderful. In fact, technically, I don't know all those things. You are the best man to answer. Hari Om.
Like ಈಗ ತಾನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, all this knowledge is of no use.
But it is serving a very important purpose, as our Gopiji Maharaj from Rishikesh said. It is serving the purpose. See, sitting here in Shanai's office, I am reaching all of you. What more I can expect? It's all Gurudev's grace, I can say.
It is of course Gurudev's grace, no doubt, sir. Sir, there is one more question. They asked A2 Galaxy Core, and I don't know what is the name of the person here. they ask, what is heaven?
What is heaven?
Because you mentioned that with all your karmas, you can get heaven, but you cannot get liberation.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what Acharya is very clear on that. So what is heaven is the question.
Svarga.
Sir, there are several way of interpretation of heaven in several other prophetic religions. We are not talking on that. Several prophetic religions of Kali Yuga in the last 2000 years, they have their own interpretation on heaven. Permanent heaven, permanent hell, judgment day, etc., etc. We are not talking on that. What our Sanatana Dharma says, heaven, for the sake of the common man, they're all woven in the form of stories in Puranas, symbolically. Yes, heaven is somewhere in the sky, invisible. There is a Devatas are there, demigods as they are called, Devatas. And there is a lord of the Devata called Indra or Devendra, looking after. And Apsaras are there. So everybody is happy in heaven. There is no misery. There is no grief. There is nothing like any feeling anybody thirsty, going hungry, etc., etc., etc. That means life is very, very, very peaceful, joyful, pleasurable life. That is the concept of heaven in our Puranas. But if you really want to know what is heaven, the point is, as our Upanishads very clearly mention, heaven is only a symbol. After the death of the body, human body, your jivatma enters into a state of invisible to human eyes. In the same antariksha, in the state, they remain for hundreds of years or thousands of years according to their karma shesha, whatever good karma they have done, whatever punya sanchayana is there, they remain in that invisible sphere without feeling anything bad, always in a sort of a exuberated, joyous, pleasurable state of mind. And once the time factor is over, again, they have to return back to the earth again for a next birth, whether it is an animal birth or human birth, depending on their karmas again. Depending on their karmas, they have to come back. So staying in heaven is not a permanent thing. It is only a phase where you stay for some time in the Jivatma phase, Sukshma Shariri or Linga Shariri, or as a subtle body, and then you have to come back again, take rebirth in this human plane, in this world, in this empirical world. So heaven is only a symbolic gesture. Only Puranas make a big issue of that by way of stories. But in reality, heaven is only a transitory phase where the Jivatma, subtle body, enjoys itself for some time. That time factor is not on the human scale, please remember. It may be 100 years, it may be 1,000 years, 10,000 years in the human scale. But it has to come back again. Again, it has to come back. After some time, according to law of karma, that we don't know how it operates. Lord himself, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Gahana karmano gatihi. You will never understand how deep the law of karma operates. And at another place in Bhagavad Gita, Lord mentions very clear. Lord Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita very clearly to Arjuna, Kshine punye martyaloke vishanti. Once your punya, sanchayana, your virtuous deeds, effects are exhausted in heaven, Kshine punye martyaloke vishanti. You have to come back to this human world or this world, this planet, what we call Earth, for rebirth once again. I think I have made myself a little clear, whatever I knew. It must have given the satisfactory answer.
Thank you, sir. That was a question from Pradeep Arvind Joshi ji from Pune.
Yeah, yeah. I know Joshi ji very well. He is our ardent devotee of our Gurudev.
There is another question, sir, from Subramanyam Jidduji. He says,
Yes.
Ji, you said Daivanugraham enables us to get 1. Manushyatva, 2.
Yes.
Mumukshatva, 3. Mahapurusha Samshraya.
Yes.
Question is, how to get Daivanugraham?
Anugraham of?
Daivanugraham, how to get Daivanugraham?
Yes, yes, yes. See, this question cannot be answered easily in one sentence. All that Acharya has mentioned there, only by the Almighty Sankalpa, which we don't know, we cannot decipher, we cannot analyze, we cannot, dissect what it is. It is beyond our mind, beyond our buddhi. Only He will decide. How further it means, when God decides andre, it means all the punya karmas we have done in our previous births, not just one, not just two, so many our previous births, whatever punya karmas, virtuous deeds we have done in life, whatever upasana, worshipping method we have followed in the previous lives, whatever sadhana we have done in the previous lives, whatever dhyana or meditation we have done in the previous life, all those accumulated karmas, they will yield a fructifying effect or result in one particular future birth. So in that birth, he is born as a human being. He develops innate tendency, jnanasatva, somehow without his knowledge to go towards God. Suddenly, it sprouts without any background. It sprouts. It's because of his good deeds in the previous birth. And then he will meet his guru. All that happens without the knowledge of the person. It happens by itself, means by God's grace, Andre. Ultimately, because our good deeds, what we have done in our previous births. That is how we should consider it. Joshiji, I think I have answered to some extent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
One more question I have, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please. Please.
Time is actually taken as a relative. It doesn't have a what do you call it? It doesn't have a real standing as such. It is actually relative. It is like when you are meditating, sometimes you feel that you have meditated for a long time, but when you look at the time, it is only 10 minutes. Sometimes when you meditate, it is very long, and you feel that you have only meditated for 10 minutes, but it is actually you have meditated for 1 hour. So how do we relate with the time that the good karma which you have, and then you are spending time? Is it somewhere that your sanchit karma is actually fructifying for a particular birth, and that is what is the time which we are talking about in spiritual way?
Yeah, to some extent you are right. You have already caught the point. See, our birth, where we are born, which family we are born, and what happens in this birth, that we will not decide. That is decided by our sum total of the previous births, karmas all put together, sanchita karma as we call. Some of that, see, law of karma is so difficult, nobody will understand how it works. Some of the karmas stored already, karma shesha, sanchita karma, they will decide a particular birth. In this birth, you should be like this. Or in the second birth, you should be like that. Or in the 10th birth, you are about to meet your guru. So all those things are decided by our accumulated sanchita karmas. Accordingly, our life in the coming births go on without our knowledge. That is why Mahatmans say that once they meet a disciple or a devotee, all Mahatmans have watched for that. In fact, some have openly said. In fact, Bhagavan Nityananda, the great Avadhuta of Ganeshpuri, Mumbai, whom our Gurudev had met when he was in Mumbai, once he remarked to his disciples, a close Antaranga Shishya. What Bhagavan Nityananda said was, very, jokingly he said, but profound truth. He said, when somebody comes to me, I have a meter in my mind. I have a meter in my mind. Immediately, I will go through the person's previous experience, previous birth, what he did in the previous birth. All those things will be entered into my meter when I hold the meter into his mind. From my mind into his mind, everything is known to me. Accordingly, I will decide what to do, what to say, what not to say. So that means what you said earlier is true. Our Sanchita karmas will decide about particular births. Plus, whatever we have done in this birth. See, for example, now I'm going to die. Whatever I have done in this birth, this will be added to Sanchita karma, but now it is called Kriyamana karma, Agami karma, Kriyamana. Even this will also decide my future birth. Are you catching the point, sir? How
Yes.
much Sanchita karma, how much of present birth karma are put together for the next birth? Nobody knows, sir. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell you. Jnanis will know it. They will not tell you all those things. Mahatmans know it. They will not tell. These are all secret of the secret and the secret law of karma, how they operate. Our Gurudev used to say one thing. A jnani will never interfere into the prarabdha of any person. It is against the rules of creation, he said. That's why they keep quiet. I hope, thank you, sir. I have, whatever I knew, I have answered, I think.
Sir, one more question from
Yes.
Sri Chitraji, Srimati Chitraji from Chennai. She says, is it possible to define what's good karma and what's bad karma?
What is good karma? What is bad karma?
How do we define it?
Yeah. In our common sense level, we can decide ourselves in the sense. See, any sattvic karma, as they call, compared to rajasic and tamasic, three gunas play a role. See, it will come later in Vivek Chudamani in detail how the Maya works. There we'll take up. So, all sattvic karmas can be safely, we can deduce, we can say they are good karmas. What is sattvic karma? In simple sentence, in simple way, all our elders, what we have taught us, same thing. Be good to others. Try to render help as much as possible to others. Don't speak lie. Don't be harsh. Look after your elders. Look after your parents. And try to do good things in life. Don't annoy anybody wantonly. Don't deceive anybody wantonly. Don't bring some bad reputation wantonly to somebody. Don't feel highly elated when somebody falls down in your relative side or in your friend side. Always have pity, have your sense of balance. Try to do good things in life means try to be a good human being. Above all, let us have faith in God. That is main point in sattvic karmas. I think that much I can tell you now.
Sir, one more question, rather clarification.
Yeah, yes.
You said that over many lifetimes, we are born and reborn, and in that cycle, we may be born as animals, and finally, I think we'll meet our guru. Does it mean that that we go back to the chain where we go back to the animal life, which is, in my view, lower birth, and that lower birth and higher birth, is that something that is intermingled, or once we come to human life, is there no chance of not having been born human again? That's one. Number two, if we meet our guru, does it mean that we have arrived in our evolution process?
Yeah, I got the point. This is a very interesting, very important, very pertinent question. Very pertinent. our Gurudev has cleared this point 2-3 times to some people when they ask the same question. I was there with him. And other Mahatmans also in their life history, they have mentioned this point. Number one, see, normally our Sanatana Dharma, Indian, Bharatiya Sanatana Dharma, Vedic Dharma, very clear cut. It says, our Upanishads are Swayam Pramana themselves, that according to our system of belief, anybody in this birth who is a human being, when he dies, he need not be again born as another human being only, because depending on his karmas in this birth, that is Kriyamana karmas, what he is performing, plus his Sanchita karma already there as a baggage, fixed deposit to be used. Mainly what he does in this birth, if he is a highly antisocial rowdy element in this birth, deceiving everybody, killing somebody, being a robber or a killer, or giving trouble to his own people, society people, all such things, if he is constantly doing, then what happens? These karmas will catch him up and he will be born as an animal only according to our Hindu Siddhanta. Because they are so horrible karmas he is performing in this birth. So he will be born as a Krimi, Kita, Tiriyak, Jantu or Pashu, Pakshi. Lower animals, not as human being. It's very clear in our Shastras. Very clear. So it's called as transmigration, that English word to be used. Sometimes people want to, English philosophical words. Transmigration of souls. Yes, he can be born as an animal. One example I'll give you. In the Ramayana, there is a story after the Pattabhisheka, you know that, all of us. When Ramachandra Prabhu installed a bell in front of the front gate of the palace, telling Lakshmana that if somebody rings the bell, whoever has got a problem, let him ring the bell and you bring him to me. I will talk to him and solve his problem. So once a dog which is beaten up and bleeding strings the bell, and Lakshmana was astonished. A dog trying to take up the bell and beat it. Then he brings ultimately to palace in the Rajya Sabha, in the Sabha Sadhana where Lord Rama is sitting. Rama will ask that dog, what is your problem? The dog says, see, I was beaten by a monk. See, with all the stones and sticks, I'm bleeding. I want you to punish him. And the monk was called in. And the monk said, I was carrying my food packet given by a donor. I'm a sannyasi. And this dog started barking and it wanted the food from my side. It tried to catch away the food, what I had. So I became restless, I became angry and I beat the dog. Then Rama will ask the dog, what punishment you want me to give? You only suggest. The dog says to Rama, make this monk as the head of the mutt, the monastery or the big temple there. Let him be the head of that. Rama was surprised. He asked, why? Why is that you are saying like this? Then the dog says, look, in my previous birth, I was heading that temple as the head priest. I used all the money devotee had given to the temple into my coffer. I filled my coffer. I took away all the money surreptitiously. So in this birth, I am born as a dog. That is the answer the dog gave. So transmigration is always possible, depending on the karmas we perform. That is one thing. Then our Gurudev made it one point very clear, the second point. That is there in Bhagavad Gita also. Here, Lord speaks about Yoga Bhrashta. Same thing. Our Gurudev said, once in this birth, if a Guru has graced you, God has graced you in the spiritual line, please remember, whether we have a Sadguru or not, if my mind is towards always worshipping, always towards upasana, always towards a mantra, always towards chanting the God stotras vehemently with all earnestness and bhakti, devotion. Even that is enough. So that you will never be born as an animal, that is guaranteed. Again, you will be born as a human being. 100% guaranteed. Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, if you have done some sadhana in this birth, some sadhana, take it from me that you become a yoga brashta in this birth. And then again you are born into such a family where you will start your sadhana in the early age itself. ಭಗವಂತ ಹೇಳೇ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಯಾರು ಹಿಂದಿನ ಜನ್ಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾಧನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮವೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಜನ್ಮ ಬರಲ್ಲ. I think.
Yes, sir. Thank you for patiently answering all of the questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think we will close today. Hari Om. Shall we?
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Yes, Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om, all of you. Hari Om, all of you. Hari Om.